before, after, before, after, and finally, image to beautiful video. And that's just the beginning, because Freepik quietly turned into something much bigger than just a stock website. Image, video, or sound generation, photo editing with just a prompt, motion design, increasing quality, and it's like a 40% of all useful things, and all inside one tool. So let's see how far this thing actually goes. Right here in the main menu, you can see a whole stack of tools: image generation, photo editing, upscaling, video creation, mockups, and more. And the best part is that everything lives in one place. You don't have to jump between 10 different websites anymore. It's a surprisingly simple solution to a very real pain designers deal with every day. But let's start with something basic: the image upscaler. I found this photo of a beautiful black BMW M8 with these aggressive red headlights. It's a cool image, but the quality isn't great. Something you might easily grab from the internet. Now imagine you're a designer and you want to use this photo for an ad, maybe for a detailing studio or a premium car service. Obviously, you'd need a higher quality image. So let's try to fix that. I'll speed this part up so we don't sit here waiting. And wow! Just look at that! The pixelation is gone, everything looks smoother and more detailed. Even the asphalt texture looks sharper now, which actually improves the whole urban vibe of the photo. And take a look at the headlights. The red color became much more vivid, almost like a glowing rose. So there you have it. A few clicks, and you got a clean, high-quality image. No endless settings. No 20-minute conversation with ChatGPT explaining that you didn't mean to replace the car with a banana. And here's another quick example with the earbuds. Since the image is mostly white and the product itself is white as well, the difference from upscaling is a bit less noticeable. Just something to keep in mind. Alright, let's take a look at image generation. This time we're going to create something completely from scratch, using just a simple prompt. Here you can also see a few generation settings. You can choose different models, adjust styles, and even simulate different camera setups. I'm not a professional photographer, but I can imagine this being very useful for designers who want more control over the final look. I'll keep things simple and just select a 35mm camera. I don't want to overload the image with too many settings. I'll write something very basic: a perfume bottle on a wooden background, with a bit of shadow and a small bonsai plant in the background for atmosphere. This generation will cost 75 credits. Let's run it. I'll speed this part up so we don't sit here waiting, and here's the result. A really nice-looking product shot with a soft blurred background. It almost suggests the scent profile visually, something woody, maybe with notes of chocolate or tobacco. And again, the interesting part is that all of this happens inside the same platform. No jumping between different tools, no exporting, re-uploading, or complicated workflows. And what's also nice is that anything you generate here, images or videos, can instantly be reused in other Freepik tools. For example, now I'm going to edit this image by changing the color of the perfume, using the same image I just generated instead of creating a new one from scratch. Not my best creative decision, to be honest. The blue color doesn't really fit this perfume. But you get the idea. You can quickly edit images using familiar tools, or simply describe the change with a prompt. The system already understands the context of the image, so it doesn't get confused or start generating something completely different. There's also a really convenient way to guide the generation. With references, you can add a visual reference, define the scene you want, and give the model more context to get closer to the exact result you have in mind. I'll keep it simple and just use a reference. But I'll turn it into a text description first, then generate something better than this blue misunderstanding. You might recognize this image from the intro of the video, so you already saw how it started and what it turned into with just a few sentences. Now let's say I need multiple angles of this product for a marketplace listing. No problem. There's a tool for that too. You just describe the camera, the lighting, how many shots you need, and which angles you want. And in a couple of minutes, you get a ready-to-use result. It's honestly impressive how well the AI understands what the product should look like from different sides and keeps it this consistent. Now let's move on, because there's still a lot more to show. This time, let's generate a stock-style video where the camera slowly pushes in toward the perfume bottle. In my head, this should look great. Minimal shadows, a bit of light refraction through the glass, very clean and elegant. Let's see if the result disappoints us. I don't know about you, but I'm impressed. I'd absolutely click on an ad that looked like this. It feels refined, minimal, and genuinely premium. Off camera, I generated a few more product images in a desert setting, so now I'm going to use one of them as the reference for a short perfume ad video. Hopefully the prompt captures the look I have in mind and gives us something beautiful. And even if the first result isn't perfect, that's fine. You can always keep refining it. Change the background, adjust the colors, tweak the shadows, or push the style in a different direction with just a few prompts. That's also what makes this workflow convenient. Once you have a subscription, most actions cost only a relatively small number of credits, and different tools are priced differently depending on what you use. Simple actions like background removal or sound generation cost much less, while video generation is more expensive depending on the model, the length, and the settings you choose. And what's nice is that you get access to a wide range of popular generation models inside the same platform. So again, you're not forced to jump between multiple tools just to get one result. If you want to try these tools yourself, you can use my link in the description to create a Freepik account and get access to the same tools I showed in this video through their free plan. As for the final output, you can judge it for yourself. It's bright, dynamic, and visually polished. The camera slowly moves around the product, and even the little tumbleweed in the background helps sell the whole desert ad aesthetic. Next, let me quickly run through a few more tools Freepik gives you access to. One of them is the Video Project Editor. This is basically a more complete workspace for building and organizing video-based content, instead of generating just one isolated result at a time. Then there's the Clip Editor. This one is useful for making fast edits to shorter video pieces without needing a full traditional editing workflow. There's also the Video Upscaler, which does exactly what it sounds like. It helps improve the quality of lower resolution footage and makes it more usable for actual content. Background Remover is here too. Pretty self-explanatory, but still one of the most practical tools in the whole stack. Let's scroll through some images I generated earlier. I actually like these two kings in a palace, so let's use them as an example. We can remove the background, isolate the subjects, and if needed, even replace the background entirely, or shift its tone to better match the final look we want. Moving on, Skin Enhancer. This tool is great for cleaning up portraits, improving skin texture, and making faces look more polished without going too far into that fake over-retouched look. Then we have Change Camera, and I think this one can be especially useful for photographers. It solves a very real problem. When you already have a strong image, but you wish you had one more angle, a slightly different framing, or a smoother visual sequence where the camera feels like it's moving through the scene in one direction. For product photography, campaigns, and visual storytelling, that kind of consistency can be extremely valuable. And the last tool I'll show today is Sketch to Photo. This one lets you turn a rough sketch or concept into a more realistic final image, which can be very useful at the idea stage when you want to move quickly from concept to visual. And honestly, I physically can't cover every Freepik feature in one video, because that would take hours. So overall, Freepik turned out to be way more than I expected. It's not just a place for stock assets anymore. It's becoming a full creative workspace where you can generate, edit, enhance, and even animate content without constantly jumping between different tools. And that convenience is really the main value here. You spend less time fighting the workflow and more time actually creating something useful, even from my own side. And from my girlfriend's experience as a designer, I can confidently say this kind of tool saves a huge amount of time. She uses it almost every day, and once you get used to having all these tools in one place, going back to a slower, fragmented workflow feels painful. Of course, it's not magic. You still need taste, direction, and some understanding of what you want to create. But as a creative assistant, this thing is seriously strong. So if you're a designer, content creator, marketer, video editor, or just someone who works with visuals on a regular basis, Freepik is definitely worth trying. And if you want to test the same tools I showed in this video, check the link in the description, create an account, and try it for yourself. That's it for this one. If you want more videos like this, real tools, real examples, and no fluff, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.